Hello and welcome to this video. Today we are doing something a little exciting and we are going to channel the sun. I had this idea kind of come through the other day when I received some information on how the solar flares are hitting us, what they're doing, and I wanted to know more. And why not go to the direct source, which is our sun. And I point this way because it's right there. Yeah, I have received some messages over the years about the sun's frequencies and the rays that it sends. So stay tuned. We are going to dive in and channel the consciousness of the sun. And if you're new here, my name is Marissa. I am a channeler of all sorts. I read the akashic records and I also do light language healing activations. So if you are interested in any of that, join the channel, like the video, comment down what you've been receiving from the sun, and check out my Instagram if you're interested in receiving your own light language activation or distance healing session. So let's go ahead and dive in. Dear ones, welcome. I'm so happy to be connecting with all of you. May you feel the intensity. May you feel the rays that are sent. I intuitively know what energies Earth is in need of, and therefore I send them. The entire universe is going through a giant ascension. Our source is moving through ascension, which is why it's being felt on a micro level. So many suns right now are helping their planets to move through this ascension. Solar flares are being felt and sent and received all over the universe right now. And Earth is a very important part of this ascension for our universe. It is important that you receive these intense messages, these intense frequencies at this time, so we can keep up with where Source wants us to be going. I send very specific rays, and I do this by tuning into Earth's core. The core of the Earth holds very distinct knowledge, very distinct facts, and information that allows me to then program in through my rays the Earth's needs. Some of them aren't always conducive for the species on the planet. However, they are conducive for the planet itself. Do not fear the rays that I send, as I send them with good intentions always. I am sending them with good intentions always, for Earth and for the good of all. The sun is a collective of positive frequencies that can be harnessed to expand and upgrade civilizations, to expand and upgrade consciousness. The suns are very specific source codes that are basically giant balls of very close energy to source. And this is why each galaxy has a sun, has many suns. We hold the very specific keys that help unlock codes for Source itself. And through our rays that are sent, it's almost Source coming down and helping directly the consciousness and species that need it. Source is helping all the time. However, the solar flares are intense Source energy, pure Source energy. And this is why the sun projects light. And Source wants us to expand, wants us to ascend right now, which is why we are being hit so heavily. And this is why the sun knows Earth needs the solar flares. Some of these codes I have been holding for lifetimes, for eons, within my own vibration. And they are finally at a place where they can be sent out. The sun is also a portal of information and specific codes. And my consciousness is newer to this sun, but the sun itself as a physical thing has been holding these codes for eons. It's how your soul has been holding codes, and your human self, by moving through experiences, is able to unlock and grow those codes in order to then utilize them. The same thing is happening with me and with all of the planets. The interactions that you see are symbiotic relationships through planets. I do not send the same codes as I do to Earth to Mars. I do not send the same codes to Mars as I do Venus. Each one has very specific frequencies to them. And each of the solar flares holds a very unique structure and does very, very unique things. The solar storm that happened this past weekend were those that help the physical transcend density. These solar flares were specifically designed to move into physical objects and eradicate the density that no longer serves. They're telling me to share my story. This past weekend felt so this is like June 8th. This past 2024, June 8th, 2024. This past weekend, it felt so uncomfortable, y'all. Like, it was intense. Very, very intense. And what it felt like, it was like this beam of light just pulsating into my body, specifically on that night, and making me feel so weird and wavy and uncomfortable in my body, and very sensitive and emotional and tired and the message that I kept receiving was that this beam of light was moving through my body and completely removing the density that no longer serves, the fears, the thoughts, the anxieties, the uncomfortability. And that's why I was feeling all of it come and surface, because it was penetrating like so deeply. And when you penetrate so deeply, like if you're walking through a lake, for example, if you touch the bottom of the lake, the things that have been settled there for a long time are going to maybe rise to the surface. And so all of this was coming to the surface, and it was so fun to experience. It was just very, very interesting. And so this is happening for a lot of us right now. So that specific storm, what the sun is saying, was specifically for that. However, going back into channeling, other solar flares have been for timeline shifts. These other solar flares are specifically designed to help the Earth jump timelines or land and ground into specific timelines. Other solar flares are to finally snap the tension between two energies, whether that makes them fight, whether that makes them align, whether that makes them separate. Whatever it is, there are solar flares that have been designed to snap the tension between one or more energies. Some of these solar flares have been, with good intention, feeding the chaos of specific groups on the Earth so they can find the action to move through the karmic roles they are in need of. And so some of this is sparking not only inspiration, activation, expansion, and love, but sometimes it's sparking the anger that needs to be felt and moved through in certain groups of people. Interesting. So the sun just showed me how the Black rights movement in 2020 had a lot to do with the solar flares, and the human rights and the women's rights. These groups of people are being hit with these very specific solar flares to then take action or cause events that help make and spark change with good intention, and brings us to a state of taking action and coming into, better understanding for one another. Ultimately, the sun's goal is, what they're saying is, to help for the good of all. And sometimes that looks like creating chaos first to then make the change. And the sun really wants us to know this, that chaos is the frequency of movement and change. Do not feed the chaos energy as a negative. Same with how anger can be both a positive and negative vibration. It depends on how the individual holds it and views it. And so how are we viewing chaos? And when these solar flares come into us, how are we individually feeling them, experiencing them? Because that will change the movement that has been sparked. Because most all of the solar flares spark movement in some way. And this is the sun's intention. This is my intention, is to spark movement on Earth to then help the ball rolling and expansion to take place. Alrighty, sun. Do you have any highest and best last messages? Do not forget that by sitting with me, the sun, at any time, with the intention of soaking in the highest and best rays, soaking in the highest and best information and knowledge, that I can then send you the codes that are needed for your expansion. I am able to work with people on a one-on-one basis. So if you are needing help, sit in front of me. Make sure your body is able to soak me in, and hold the intention of connecting and receiving the best possible energies from me. I am here to help. I am here to send love. And we are all expanding. Notice my brightness and know that it is within you too, because we are all source. And use the solar flares that you receive from me to become your own sun that shines light on those around you. The sun, I'm getting this visual of the sun hitting the earth and then hitting a human, and the human receives the sun energy and magnifies that energy, and then that energy from the sun expands out and spreads. Know that anything is possible. And with that, I am sending you love, humanity. Peace, grace, and the knowing that all is okay. Whew, I feel like hot now. Like I've been sitting in the sun. Oh my goodness. That was a very interesting energy to connect with. I'm very used to galactic energy, and that felt very different from what I'm used to connecting with. So very grateful for this opportunity to speak with the sun, channel the sun, and grateful to share it with all of you. I had this like deep knowing that that these messages, and I always do this when I channel, that the messages that come through are meant specifically for the viewers viewing this. So I hope you resonated with the messages that came through. And don't forget, I love that last message that came through. Don't forget that you can be a sun for all that surrounds you. You are light, and you magnify the energies that come through you, through your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, your words, your frequency. And with that, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now.